Hello everyone, it's Charlton. Okay, all right, man. I have an interesting theory, man. I really do. It's totally theoretical, conceptual. Not here to necessarily prove anything. I'm just here to present something that just occurred to me tonight while I was reading another article. And I don't know why these things don't occur to me sooner. I mean, it's just part of my nature. You know, in some respects, I can be a real dizzy, you know, and sort of a dope. But other ways, believe me, I have some mathematical ability. And but and that's not, I'm just saying it, you know, it's not trying to like be brag or whatever. But I just do have certain mathematical analytical skills, and they involve finding unknowns, balancing equations. Those are the two things that I like to do. Okay, I'm an analyst, analytical, very analytical, too analytical, to the point where it's just obsessive. But I don't compute things quickly in my head. Basically, my old man does. He does everything. Super smart math dude. Super smart. And he can compute things in his head in a second. And I can't do that. And if somebody asks me to do it, I get all bunged up and panic and whatever. So, but I don't know why these things didn't occur to me sooner. You know, but it did. And sometimes I've presented the idea that maybe we're being steered in certain directions because of who's involved, because we're talking about massive liability, legal liability, and the dollars that, you know, will ultimately be paid out in settlements, which could range from anywhere from 50 to 100 million all the way up to $1 billion, you know. And those are big differences, man, okay? But it's occurred to me, this isn't any good here. What occurred to me is this. Well, and just bear with me. I think there were 3 phases to this plan. And I still believe there was him. I still believe it was Paddock. I still believe it was just by himself. Even though I could be convinced, I really could. Because just even thinking over these theoretical things, trying to visualize the 2 windows and things, these 3 things that I have in my head that were basically what his plan was, to accomplish them by one person is difficult. I can be convinced, and that's not trying to. That's just saying that I really could be, but I'm not for now. For now, it's just him. He's by himself. He committed suicide at the end of this, and that basically this was a suicide mission from the very beginning. But I do think there were 3 parts to his plan, and only 2 of them have been discussed. Okay. You know, and I think the first part of his plan is the one that wasn't discussed. Okay, so let's just assume that what his motive was to take his revenge on the casinos or just all of Las Vegas, but the casinos in particular, for taking away his life savings and taking away the life he knew that he worked for, and that basically, what would be the best way to do that? And he chose a pretty good way. You know, in terms of inflicting the most damage possible on the casinos. But why? I mean, why do people come to Las Vegas? Obviously, they come to gamble, and I believe that that's the primary motive here, you know. I've already discussed this. But why? What draws the crowds? You know, what brings the crowds to Las Vegas? You know, it's the entertainment, man. That's what brings the crowds. And if you... to stop the crowds from coming, you stop the entertainment from coming, that'll do it. So, you know, I'm beginning to think that those first single shots, it's interesting when I was just looking up, you know, to see if some of these things worked out in terms of my theory. I had a tough time finding those videos, the single shot videos, the very beginning of it. They were difficult to find. In fact, the ones that I think used to be out there have probably been eliminated from YouTube for whatever reasons, for reasons I'll discuss later in the video maybe if I get to it. Just like I've always maintained that maybe this purge was really something else going on, and that it wasn't necessarily YouTube, but it was other people, other creators with different motives than and it wasn't YouTube anyways. But I did have a tough time finding the single shot videos, but I found them, and it wasn't that tough. I'm just saying, I searched first shots, Las Vegas shooting, and it was nowhere to be found. I had to move my words around before I could finally find something that only had like 2,000 views, All right, so. All right, I'm home now, and I want to play for you those single shots, the first shots before before the spray, before the bump stock shots. And but before I play that for you, I just want to also show you the photo from the fit report that that's from the 135 room right there, window and you can clearly see the stage. I mean, you can even see through the stage, through those mesh-like barriers that surround the stage to the stage there, and maybe I'll zoom in some here so you can see it better, but oops. That was very doable without a doubt. And oddly enough, that photograph is literally on page 81 of 81 pages, and this is the preliminary report, but that is the very last page of that report. That photograph is on the very last page. Seems funny though, but here's the shots, and I'm going to crank this up and just play it. So those are the first single shots that rang out before the spray, before the bump stock, automatic fire. And to me, those do not sound like tank shots to me. They sound like a gun that's being fired in a more deliberate fashion at a target with a rifle that's not, even two of the shots went back to back there for a second, That's how it sounds to me. I'll play it one more time and then put you back to the rest of the video. Yes, you heard I was pedal to the metal on the pedal wheels. Those aren't tank shots to me. They're not. But the rest of my video, I got to roll. But in those first few shots, they don't sound like tank shots to me, man. They don't. And if you look at the view in the Las Vegas Metro, report of the venue from the room 135, right from that window, you actually have an angle on that stage, man. You do, and you can see through those large, like mesh-like things that kind of surround the stage. And when that was well lit up at night with a performer in the middle of it, you probably could have visual on that person. And I'm just saying, I'm beginning to think that those first few single shots before they started spraying on the crowd were actually meant for the band. Were meant for the entertainer, for Jason Aldean. And that's a distinct possibility. I really think so. And then he just couldn't do it. He couldn't hit him, and he had to move on to the next phase. And it could be that, he never shot at the tanks in the beginning. The tanks he only shot at the very end. Those last couple of single shots that sound loud as hell. They might have been like the armor piercing, and that's why he would need, and I'm not going to argue over why he has all those guns. Obviously, it's insane. He was insane. But my hands are shaking because I'm tired. But that would be why, he would need different types of rifles. One to spray the crowd, and he had many of those, obviously. One to take single shots, pinpoint shots on a human being, that's on the stage, and two, to shoot at those tanks with a high caliber, very powerful rifle, to hit something, that's huge, and hopefully make them explode. And obviously we know that didn't happen, but I really do think that it's a very distinct possibility. Those first single shots were actually meant for the entertainment. And basically to scare every future entertainer from ever wanting to perform in Vegas again, and that would do significant damage to the town and to the casino industry there. And if that was his objective, that'd do it. I mean, I was just reading about what they're preparing for New Year's Eve, and I was reading the AP story on it, how, it's going to be like the second largest event in the country next to New York City. And there's going to be 300,000 people there. I was shocked at the entertainers that are performing on New Year's Eve. Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, Gwen Stefani, Celine Dion, Maroon 5. Lady Gaga is performing at the Park Theater at the Park MGM Casino Resort. Celine Dion is performing at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace. Maroon 5 is performing at the Mandalay Bay Event Center. And that's where I came up with the idea that, maybe those first single shots, he had a three-phase plan to go after the entertainment, then go after the crowd, and then one last, Hail Mary to go after those tanks. And 2 out of the 3 didn't work. But, I would say, man, that first one would be, there's reasons, obvious reasons why interested parties wouldn't want the public to know that, wouldn't want the entertainers to know that. And, it wouldn't be that tough for that to get lost in the details. It wouldn't. Obviously you can't hide 58 deaths and stuff like that. But that portion of it, that could go unknown, in my opinion. So that's my idea. And that's the story there. All right, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.